With this workflow, you can automatically post to Instagram from your Slack or other account with multiple images, so carousels, single images, if you have images that you're attaching or using Google Drive links, and it even lets you know if you didn't attach an image, it's able to draft your post for you and able to update those drafts based on either its recommendations or your own recommendations. Really a cool tool to be able to use for social media posting. Okay, and let's see how this bot actually works in action. So I'm going to come over to Slack. I just did my Facebook posting bot video. So let's go ahead and do this same image. We're going to post it to Instagram. I'm going to grab the same prompt. I'll just change it for Instagram. So let's go ahead and make an Instagram post about how awesome it is to record all my content on Saturday and leave the rest of the week open for other work. So what it's able to do is it's able to process image files that I can put into it, or even if I have my image in a Google Drive and just grab the link from Google Drive and bring it in. It's able to do single images. It's able to do multiple image carousels as well. And what it does first is it drafts the post, and then it goes through the process of uploading it when it's time to post. Instagram is different from Facebook. They have different process on how they upload information. I'll cover that all as we're going through the bot. But here we got my draft. Batch recording on Saturdays is a game changer. Everything I need for the week gets locked in one go. No scrambling, no last minute stress. Frees up the rest of my week to focus on strategy, meetings, and real growth. Yep, looks good. It gives me some suggestions. It gives me its opinion of whether it looks good, then some suggestions on how to make it more powerful, and lets me know whether it thinks I should post it now or not. So anyway, it says it needs some more punch or a distinctive voice to really stop people. So let's go ahead and update it. Go ahead and update the hook. Make it stronger. Okay. Now, this bot is able to do or to take voice inputs as well. There's a slight caveat on that on the very first post that you do. If you're going to attach an image, the image takes the spot of where the voice file would be for purposes of being able to figure out where it is. So voice messages and images on the first message don't work, but voice messages do work thereafter, or if you use a Google Drive link, you can do a voice message. Just understand, like, it'd make a big complicated mess if I try to figure out how to be able to find where the voice message was and then pass that through. So here we got our updated draft. Stop wasting weekdays fighting the content grind. Oh, good. I reserve Saturdays to batch record everything I need. No scrambling. Looks good. All right, that looks good. This one, it says it still needs a little bit more emotional flavor, but I don't think so. So looks good to me. Go ahead and post it. All right, so what it's going to do, it's going to post to Instagram. And while it's doing that, let's go to my Instagram account really quick so I can show you. Let's find my profile. And so I just posted some reels and I didn't get too much engagement, but that's all well and good. So it should be posting. I'm going to get a notice from the bot here in a second that it has posted. Boom, posted. Let's go ahead and go to Instagram, refresh. And there's that picture. And it works perfectly. All right, so the bot is able to post. It's able to take updates. Like I said, images, drive links, you name it. If I wanted to do a carousel, it would do multiple images. Works really great. As always, you can get today's workflow by going to our free Skool community, where we keep all of our past workflows, training videos, tools, and templates. You can also join hundreds of AI enthusiasts all looking to grow their businesses with AI-powered automations. And make sure to join us on our Advanced community, where we have over 20 hours of additional AI and N8N training courses to help you learn how to ride this AI wave, as well as a group of committed AI-focused business owners all looking to help each other grow and scale. Okay, now let's actually dive into how this bot works. Now, as you can see, it's kind of a hefty bot. There's a lot going on here. I don't want this to be a 2-hour video, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, for this initial part here, this whole front part, like if you watch any of my other videos, this will look familiar. It's kind of my standard opening to a lot of the agents that I build. There is a little difference here on the top row for image processing for this social media bot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to recommend that you actually go check out my Facebook posting bot. I'll put a link in the description below so you can check that out. I walk through that whole process of setting this section up. It's exactly the same setup. There's no difference whatsoever. And it'll give you the chance to go get another bot as well by watching that one. So instead, I'm just going to kind of very, very briefly run through kind of high level what it's doing. And then I'll get into the logic of how these other paths are working. The fallback that we have if you're doing a Google Drive link or doing an image or multiple images, and how all that's doing. So what it's going to do is it's going to take from your from your Slack trigger. So when we send a message to Slack, it's going to check whether it's the top of the thread or if it's part of the thread. It's going to pass our information on, so our image, our voice messaging, our text. It's going to pass it on to this section here, which is going to log the image into a Google Sheet. And specifically, it's going to log it into this one called Image Links. I'll give you a copy of that as well in the school community. You can go get that for free. It's also going to pass forward our text as well as our audio messages. It sends all of that through this process of checking whether or not we have any prior conversation history. So using that session ID number based on whether this is the top level thread or part of a messaging in the thread. If it's anything after the first message, it's going to get the entire conversation history using this Postgres node here. And then it's going to organize it all chronologically using this code node, pass it all forward, and we get to this landmark node where we're going to map all of the rest of the information we need for the rest of the bot here in this one spot. So we have our user ID, so that's your user ID through Slack, the previous conversations you've had with the bot, so the full conversation history, as well as which chain this is part of, whether it's if this is a tool that you're using as a part of a larger agentic system, which is what I do. So this is just a tool, this one that I'm giving away, as part of a larger bot that I have that I can call Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and my notes and my calendar all in one. So I have the conversation chain passing through as well. If you want to turn this as part of a tool of an agentic system, I pass forward our current user request, but that's our current message to the bot. The timestamp of the message that we're sending, we're also, and that's either the thread timestamp if there is one, or the initial timestamp that we have. We pass through the images timestamp. The images timestamp is this number here in the message timestamp cell for the image that got uploaded into the bot, as well as the Instagram image ID numbers. And those image ID numbers are what we get on the second pass or beyond instead of our images timestamp. Because we're not uploading the images to our spreadsheet a second time the next time we go through it. Instead, we're going to use an Instagram images IDs number for future processing. First pass has different settings than the second pass and beyond. So just understand that this is for the first pass and this is for any subsequent pass. All right. That information is then going to come through this process here. We're going to get the information from our spreadsheet based on our image ID number or timestamp. All right, so Instagram image IDs or timestamp is going to give us the information from this row or column here. It's this one right here. It's going to get us. All right, and you'll see it even it's even drafted my Instagram post for me. So it's marked it that it did it. Wonderful. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through these kind of logic gates here to figure out which branch this is supposed to go into. So our first if node is checking whether we have a message timestamp, which is the first pass. It put this into the spreadsheet for the first time. Here's the timestamp of when it did it. Or if it found an Instagram images ID number in our Postgres memory based on what has already been processed. It's going to be one of the two. It's going to check if it has that. If it has one of them, it's going to come up this path. This path is checking whether or not we have a Google Drive link in our either current message or in our message to our previous conversation histories with the bot. So if we have an Instagram image ID because we gave it a Google Drive link originally and that link got put into the system, and then it sees that it has the Google Drive link, it will mark this as true and come down this bottom branch. And this bottom branch is looking for Google Drive links once more. If it finds it, it then goes through kind of this bottom path down here, one of these three sections down here for Google Drive links. If it does not find an image ID timestamp or an Instagram image ID because it's the second pass or more, and it does not see a Google Drive link at all. And it will then come down this fallback path here. And this fallback path simply sends us a message that simply says that we did not get the information. So notify the user promptly, let them know that no images were received. There's nothing to post or to review. It needs to stay in character, and it needs to recommend next steps to you. That's all it's doing. It's going to go, oh, well, this is awkward. No image came through. Can you like send us an image to send something onto Instagram? It's then going to send that to you via Slack. And like, I think I need to update this one. Yeah, let me update this one for you guys. So set your bot credentials here. Make sure you set the channel that the bot is going to be posting into. Your operation is send message to channel. And then the message type is simple text message using the output from the previous AI agent as our message. And we're going to be responding to the message timestamp of the first message that we sent in so that it comes into the thread. And so then we'll have a thread timestamp for any subsequent conversations so that it has conversation history. What happens after it sends the message? It's going to come through this process here. And real quick before I go through the process, this process right here where we have an AI agent draft something, sends it to us via Slack, sets some information in this edit field node, and then we have 2 Postgres nodes. That's my standard ending for all of the branches of all of my bots. And that's so that it sends me a notification that it has completed the job. It logs the information into one place so that it's able to upload the information into Postgres properly. It does that here. It's going to send the human message first. So you're going to want to set up your Postgres credentials. Operations insert, schema is public, table is your bot chat table that you have. And if you don't have Postgres set up yet, I will have a link in the description below on how to set up Postgres, the chat table, to be able to have it work for you. Set your session ID as the session ID that's being pulled from our edit fields node, which was again being pulled from a code node or the landmark node previous on. That's going to be our user ID : thread timestamp. All right, and so that is how we're logging all of our timing for all of our bot communications for this thread. All right, we're going to send type human. Data content is going to be the message that we're sending, that we sent to the bot through the Slack trigger. And then we have all these extra dot replaces in order to be able to remove out any extra offending marks that might break the upload into Postgres. So any curly braces, any quotes, anything like that. And then we have our time added so that our code node is able to identify our chronological order for our posting to be able to pull out our conversation history and structure it in chronological order for our bots to be able to understand. All right, and again, that's all explained in the Facebook posting bot video where I do go through the initial section of the bot in much more detail. It takes a little bit of time to get through that. The video is already going to be long enough. If you want to go and review that, please do. All right. After it sends the human message to Postgres, we then send the bot message. So again, set up your Postgres credentials, operations insert, schema is public, table is your chat table for your bot. Set the same session ID so that it's able to pull all of that information based on a single code number. Our message is type bot. Our data with content, this is the message itself, is going to be the message that's being sent from the Slack node that the bot is responding to us from. And we have the dot replaces to keep it clean, time added to give it the timestamp. And then we have responding to, it's going to know that it responded to you, the user, with your user ID. And we give it a previous conversation chain of Instagram so that it will know if it's part of a larger agentic system that this is the Instagram chain. All right, that's the fallback. It's just going to notify us if it didn't have any images. And please, again, note that while the structure might be slightly different, I have an extra edit field node in here. It's largely the same ending for all of these bots. It's essentially the same. I'm very, very loosely going to cover them. I'm not going to go through them in as much detail, but it's pretty much always the same ending for my bots. All right, so it gives us a response, sends it to Slack, has some edit field nodes in order to lock down the information right there, and sends the human message, sends the bot message. That way we always have the same process every time we run the bot, no matter which branch it goes down. The only difference is on the image posting branch. You'll notice that there are these 2 extra Google Sheets nodes. I will cover those when I get there. Basically, it's just a way of closing out the Google Sheet information that's being logged here in our bots. Okay, so what we're going to do.
Please clarify what.
No, be quiet, Google. I don't want you talking. All right. So if our bot has determined that we are sending a Google Drive link with the post, it's going to come down this path here. All right. So we went through this triple if logic. We avoided the fallback position. We're going to, oopsie, no, don't rename anything. We're going to come down to this path down here, which is going to determine whether or not we have multiple images that we're posting as a carousel. It's a single image, or if we're on our draft, our first draft of a post. All right, so if it's a first draft, we come through this if node, and what it's going to look for is if our current user request currently contains a Google Drive link file of some type. No, Google, stop listening to me. All right, so if it contains a Google Drive file, it is, no, throw my phone away. Throw my phone away, okay. If it has that Google Drive link in the current message, it's going to come down to this bottom path here. This bottom path is going to count the number of links with this code node first, and it's going to output our result of our links. So it's going to either say multiple, that's the result. It's either multiple links, a single link. It's going to give us the number of links, and it's going to write out those links for us. All right. Those links are then going to come through this process down here, which is going to draft our Instagram post for us. We give it our current user request, a current message to the bot, and our past conversations with the bot if we have any so far. And in fact, we don't. So this is just kind of a holdover of me copying, pasting the same thing over and over again. This branch would never get any previous conversation history just because it's not going to be there. I guess that's not necessarily true. There might be a situation where you you hit the fallback because you didn't include any links or images or anything, and then you sent a link, in which case it would then come down this path. So I guess it's fine to leave it. No need changing it. I did it right the first time. But it's an Instagram ghostwriter. Its job is to read and understand our description of the Instagram post that may or may not contain images. I mean, it is going to contain images. It's Instagram. But it's going to write a single Instagram post that delivers a powerful hook or insight or shares a personal moment or reaction in the user's voice. You can obviously change this for your own unique needs. That's just how I have it set up at the moment. All right, it's not analyzing any images. It's not interpreting our prompt or about the images. It's just drafting based on what we tell it to write in our post, in our message to it through Slack, all right? So it's not actually going to base its draft on the image. Nothing here analyzes the image. You have to tell it what to draft, all right? What else? It's getting a user prompt that requests an Instagram post that may explain the images. May explain why they matter or what to say about them. You have to tell the bot what to say. It's going to draft the post. Sometimes it'll include a draft post or an idea that it needs to be upgraded. It needs to understand your description of what the images represent or what you want to share. And then it needs to write that Instagram post matching your intent. All right. So do not mention or describe the image directly. Do not ask for more context. These are the post types that it's allowed to make: operator takes, snapshot lessons, bold claims, process drops, insight hits, or personal moments or reactions. If you want to reduce that list, if you want to add to the list, if you only want to give it one type of post it's allowed to make, you can come in here and adjust the system prompt right there. Then we get some output rules, how it's supposed to make its output. Open strong, match the user's intent, speak with confidence, write with conviction, ignore the image essentially, because it's not seeing the image in any way. So there's no point in it describing the image. It needs to understand that the length is flexible. It should be mobile friendly, concise, impactful, and easy to scan. If you want just one line, like a one-liner, you can tell it that. If you want like paragraphs, you can come in and change this prompt for yourself. All right, it's actually down here. Include up to 3 high volume relevant hashtags. If you want hashtags, you can change this. If you want more hashtags, you can include more. If you want less, you can include less. Me personally, I don't have this. I just included it in case you wanted hashtags. Write like a human who understands Instagram. Style checklist needs to be confident, stripped down, expert level clear. Tone needs to be bold and casual. The goal is to engage thinkers and also share real experiences. All right, no links or URLs, no mentioning the image. It's not supposed to ask you for more context to be able to write more. Not supposed to just parrot your words. No emojis, those actually break the upload. No writing threads or multi-part posts. It's just, here's the post that you need to make. It does not build up to the point. It needs to just say it. No sounding like a social media manager or brand. It needs to sound human. No excuses, disclaimers, or meta language, and no swearing at all. I don't want swearing in my post, so I just left that in there for the prompt. If you want swearing, you change it for yourself. Give it some examples of inputs and then example posts. All right. So what it's going to then do, it's going to send it to this AI agent here. This AI agent gets only the Instagram post draft, and it's supposed to parrot it back to us in a way that it essentially goes, here's the draft, tells us what the draft is, very clearly set aside, and then it gives us some recommendations on if it thinks it's a good post, what could be an improvement, and then if it thinks it's ready to post as it is. All right, and so if I come back to Slack, that's exactly what you saw here. So it tells us that it's going to give us a draft, it gives us that draft, and then it gives us feedback, you know, good feedback, improvement feedback, and then whether it thinks it's ready to post. All right, and so that's what the system prompt does. It's supposed to deliver the raw Instagram post, unfiltered, uncut. It needs to frame it. So again, it's not supposed to edit the post that the other agent just made. It's going to present it to us. It's going to review that post that was just given to us for clarity, wit, and constructive candor. It's going to recommend whether it thinks it's good enough to post and move forward. So we give it some instructions on how to format it. So open with style, display the draft clearly, setting it aside, clearly delimited. Needs to format it as here's the Instagram post with some dashes above it and below it to set it aside. No quotation marks in the draft or around the draft. That'll break the bot. All right, quotation marks just break bots. So we strip those out and never omit the delimiter lines. Give it an example. So we have the draft text. So here's the Instagram draft. Here's the draft text. Follow it feedback and close with a verdict. All right. And so the style rules kind of reiterate that again. We're talking directly to the user. If it's great, say so. If it needs to quote something, don't use quotation marks. Never use quotation marks. You can use single marks or it can use asterisks to set something aside. And then we have some what not to do's. It's not editing the post. It's not breaking character. It's just going to present it to us and give us those recommendations. And then that gets passed through over to Slack. Slack message gets sent to us via the bot. All right, same thing I just showed you when we were going through the fallback position. Here's the bot credentials. It's a message sending it to a channel, the bot channel, and then it's going to give the message from the previous AI agent. That's the message it's sending. It's sending it to the timestamp, and that timestamp is, again, either the thread timestamp or the top level timestamp. One of the two, either way, it's going to end up in the thread for the bot. It then has an edit field node. The edit field node is just going to lock in some information here to be able to use in these Postgres nodes we're about to upload. We get the session ID, the text of the bot, our user ID, previous conversation chain is going to be Instagram, and then a time added is now. All right, we just lock that in here. And then we have our human upload. We're going to upload it, insert public schema into the table for the chat table for the bot based on the session ID. All right, the session ID is from the edit field node that we just set. That's again the user ID colon thread timestamp number. And that is the session ID, and that is how we're going to be able to log all of our conversation loop, no matter what we ask the bot to do moving forward in this thread. We send it type human, data content, send the message from our Slack trigger, essentially. It's the message that we sent in this execution. Remove out any extra offending marks, and then include the timestamp of this being uploaded right now. I then have an additional edit field. I didn't have to have this additional edit field. I thought about it after I built it, and I'm like, I'm too lazy to actually fix it. I could have just included that information here in this edit field node, but here we have another one for the Instagram image IDs, and that is being pulled from this code node right over here that pulled out the drive link ID numbers and passed them forward into this edit field node. And we're going to upload that as an array into our Postgres node here with the bot message. All right, so again, insert is our operation, schema is public, table is the bot table. Session ID is the same session ID. We're just calling it this time from the update Postgres node. So that's our session ID. And then here we have our bot content. Our message is the message that it's sending to us via Slack with our dot replaces. time added is just the timestamp for right now. Our responding to is going to be our user ID. And then we're going to give it the Instagram image IDs, which again are the IDs of the drive links that we got. All right. And we're going to pass those back through that there is a Instagram image ID so that the next time the bot gets it, it goes down the correct path. And then our previous conversation chain is Instagram. All right. And that is the process that it's going to run through for a Google Drive on our initial draft. On the second pass, it comes to this if node again, and it's going to see that our current user request does not contain a Google Drive link. Not this time, because it was in the last message, right? And this time it's going to go through this Google Drive code node here. It's going to go through and look through our previous conversations. It's going to find those Google Drive links once more. And it's going to output the same thing that it just did on the other branch. It's going to let us know whether there's multiple images or a single image. It's going to give us the total number of links, and then it's going to give us the actual links themselves in an array. All right. That then gets put through this if node. This if node is checking for whether our dot result, our result output says the word multiple or single. If it says multiple, it's going to go up the top branch in order to do a carousel, this branch here. If not, it's going to go down our single branch down here. All right. Now, this should look familiar. This is pretty much the same as the Facebook posting bot, except you'll notice there's no like loops here. In fact, there's only a loop needed when we're doing multiple images. For the Facebook posting bot, I looped through it regardless of whether it was single or multiple because we were able to upload all of our images before we even got the draft. For Instagram, you can't upload your image without the draft attached to it, without the content attached to it. So we have to actually go through the process of drafting first and then posting the image with the draft. And so that's why it's different from the Facebook one, if you were wondering. And so that's why the multiple images has this loop. That should look kind of familiar. Our single images don't, because there's no reason to go through a loop. There's only one image. So what we have here is a text classifier node. Each of these branches all have a text classifier node. It's exactly the same. So I'm only going to cover this really once. What this one is doing is it's taking our current request, our current message to the bot, as well as our past conversation history, so our chronologically ordered conversation history, and it's going to determine whether or not we are asking the bot to currently post the post. All right? If not, it's going to classify it as a draft request. So hey, can you make an Instagram post? Or hey, can you update that? Or hey, add that, or that sounds good. Whatever it is you're saying, it's looking for, and our conversation history is going to include, it should include the conversation chain, which is Instagram. So we're not too concerned with the bot being confused that this isn't an Instagram post. It knows that we're talking about Instagram. But again, it's really only looking for, with this trigger condition here, whether you're telling it to post. So one, you give a clear and explicit instruction to post, publish, schedule, or send an Instagram post. And there is a valid Instagram post draft in the previous conversations that we are clearly referring to. If those two conditions are met, then it will send it up the post or the send path. If not, then it's going to go down the draft path. So here's the draft trigger conditions. And this is just wherever there is a draft and we're not necessarily saying to post it. And please, again, understand, because of the way I had to set up the logic to do this, in order to get it to work right, I had to break up the initial draft from a subsequent draft. I couldn't get it to work right in just one pass, because of the way the Google Drive links and the image links needed to be structured. I had to break apart the initial draft versus any subsequent drafts. And so that's why this one here, it's pretty much always either going to be send or an update draft. It's never going to be doing an initial draft for you. So even though the examples might say, hey, can you make a draft? That's not what it's going to be doing. And so it's looking for those two trigger conditions. It has a system prompt. The system prompt is pretty simple. It gets the previous conversations, it gets our current message, and it's supposed to determine whether or not it needs to go down the draft path or it needs to go down the send path. some pretty simple instructions. So, send path, we explicitly approve the post. The message confirms or initiates post publication, and the message provides clear go ahead. All right, it has to have a valid draft exists in the current or previous conversation context. Whereas a draft path is pretty much anything else that this bot would get. So as for the draft path, it comes through this node here, and this is going to be a drafting agent. And specifically, it's getting the same inputs, so the current message and the previous conversation history. But this one's not just a drafting agent, it's a revision agent. Because again, we had the initial draft already made in that first path we discussed. This one is just to revise the draft. Its job is to read the draft. It's supposed to look at our edit requests, and then it's supposed to revise the existing post to incorporate the requested changes or contextual insights, strengthen the hook, clarity, or personality, and maintain the user style and strategic tone. It does not write the first drafts. It only operates in second pass or later contexts. All right, so it's always going to have a draft post that it's able to review, as well as our recommendations and the bot's recommendations on what to update. All right, so we give some output rules: open strong, follow the feedback, but stay on strategy, match a professional human voice, write with conviction, do not reference the image itself. So even if you tell it, hey, this is an image about, it's not supposed to say that. Length and flexibility. Or length flexibility, it needs to be clear, tight, readable on mobile, and high impact. Include up to 3 hashtags, and always output a fully revised Instagram post, never bullet points or edit explanations. Never tell us like, hey, this is what I updated. No, just the draft. All right, it's not writing the first draft, but it's always just gonna come out with a draft, and it needs to try to keep the draft, it will try to keep the draft as close to the original draft as it can, because it's not supposed to just completely overhaul it. It's revising the post. That then gets sent to this AI agent. This AI agent is the same as this AI agent here, which is going to structure the post that it's going to send back to us via Slack. So it's going to give us the updated draft, just like it did here in Slack for me. So my first pass went through this one. This was my first pass. I then gave it instructions on how to update it, and then did a second pass. And so again, it gives us kind of the initial introduction, it gives us the draft, and then it's going to give us recommendations on improvement, critiques, and then whether it thinks we should post it or not. All right, and so it's the same as this one here. It's just going to do that structure for us. So we give it the Instagram post, and then we tell it to go ahead and deliver the draft, frame it, review it, and recommend any improvements. It's the same exact post, same exact system prompt as the other node. So I don't really have to go through it too much. Then we then have another Slack node, same thing as before, set up your Slack credentials, make sure it's posting into the correct channel. It's going to take the post, the output from the previous AI agent that has that Instagram draft with all its recommendations. It's going to send it to us, and it's going to send it to us in the thread timestamp that we're pulling from our landmark node. It then comes through the same edit field nodes that we just had down here. So it's going to set our user ID, our session ID, the text that the agent just sent us, our previous conversation chain, our time added, and it's going to see if there's any image timestamps that it needs to hold on to from back here. Now, it's not going to, because the Google Drive links don't handle those. So it's just kind of a holdover from copying and pasting on another branch. You can ignore it. Anyway, all that information that gets sent into this Postgres node, we're sending it based on our session ID. We're pulling from that edit field node that came right before. Human is our type, data, content is our message, is what we sent through the Slack trigger with our dot replaces, and then time added to make sure everything's in chronological order. We have the same edit field node here, which is just grabbing our Instagram image IDs as an array, pulling from this code node right here, this Google Drive second pass. All right, we're just making sure that these numbers are always being passed through into the Postgres memory so that it is able to be seen and pulled back out on the next pass, so the bot is able to post these. We need to make sure it remembers these numbers. All right, so that information is going to be passed back into Postgres one more time for the bot message. So Postgres credentials, operations insert, schema is public, table is your bot chat table. Our session ID was we're pulling from that update Postgres node, the session ID number. And then we have our bots here, content. Here's the message that's sending via the Slack message to us with our dot replaces to clean it up. Our time added to make sure it stays in chronological order. Responding to our user ID so it knows who it's responding to. Our Instagram IDs, we're just going to give it all those numbers. And our previous conversation chain is Instagram. All right. If you have then approved the post through Google Drive for a single post, then it's going to come through the top branch. The top branch is going to pull out with this AI agent. It's going to see our current message and our previous conversation history. It's going to pull out with this system prompt here the last complete draft that we had that we approved. So it's the Instagram relay bot. And if you saw my Facebook posting bot video, it's the same exact prompt as that one, except I just changed the word Instagram for Facebook for Instagram. Otherwise, it's the same bot. It's going to get our full conversation history. It's going to return the post text only with no additional commentary or analysis or updates or headers or anything like that. And it needs to retain all of the formatting that we had. It's going to give us a direct copy of the post and nothing else, just the last complete message that we have approved. All right, and it's going to output just that text. That text is then going to be run through this code node. This code node is going to reference back to this code node over here, which is getting our Google Drive links. And it determined that it was a single link in this case. It's then going to grab that link and output it as a field called Drive Link. That's then going to be downloaded. We're going to download that file from Google Drive. So you're going to want to set up your Google Drive credentials. If you don't yet have that set up, I'll have a link in the description below on how to set up your Google Cloud Console API. Anyway, we're doing a resource of file. Operation is download. We're going to do it by URL using the Drive link. The output is going to be called data. We then are going to upload that. In this case, I'm uploading it to WordPress. Now, I tried this a whole bunch of different ways. You are not able to take directly from Google Drive and upload it to Instagram or to Meta. It just will not let you do it. You have to upload it to a place that will allow it to have essentially an unrestricted and unsecure link to be able to pull off and download. So in this case, I happen to have a WordPress website. It's my blog site. I upload images there anyway. So I'm able to go ahead and upload my image to my WordPress site. And here's my WordPress URL. I upload it to the WordPress site, and then that image will now live on my website as something that can be downloaded and put into Instagram. So I don't think I have a video on how to set up WordPress. WordPress was such a pain in the butt that I just haven't had any interest or inclination to try to figure out how to do it. I apologize. You're gonna have to figure out how to set up WordPress and your credentials on your own. But once you have those credentials set up, again, I'm sorry, I haven't wanted to do it myself. What you're gonna do is make sure you have headers, your header content dash disposition. You're gonna have this value here. It's gonna be attachment, semicolon, space, then file name equals, and then we're gonna have some JavaScript here. So 2 curly braces, $binary dot data dot file name with a capital N in name, and then end curly braces, 2 curly braces. All right, and then we're gonna have one more header, content dash type, and we'll do some JavaScript here. So 2 curly braces, $binary dot data dot mime type, and the type is capitalized T. All right, and that'll be pulled from the download that came from Google Drive. All right, it's pulling from that Google Drive download. And then we're going to send the body. Body type is any-to-end binary file, and input data field name is data. And so that's what we're uploading into WordPress. We have to attach some extra information so it understands what's being uploaded, but all that's being uploaded to WordPress. We then will go to Instagram, and we're going to upload the image to Instagram first. So you're going to want to set up your Meta Graph API credentials. That is a huge pain in the butt, and I did create a video on that one. The link is in the description below. Man, guys, it took me like 8 hours the first time I had to figure out how to do it. I think the video is under half an hour, so really helpful for you to be able to figure out how to set up your Meta credentials to be able to post to Facebook and to Instagram. But once you've set all of that up, you're gonna send some query parameters. First one is going to be called image_URL, and that's going to be json.guid.raw. That's coming from WordPress, and that is the URL of the raw image link on WordPress of where the image now lives. All right. We're also going to include a caption with that image, and that's going to be from our send bot. So this one here that pulled out the last final draft that we approved. That one is going to be passed forward here. Oh, not this one, this other node. It's going to be passed into here, and it's going to send, actually it was this one. It's going to send that with the image into Instagram. Now you might be thinking, well, why aren't we just posting that? That comes next. Literally the very next node. We then go ahead and post it. We're going to do, again, set up your credentials. You set your node with your page ID. The page ID for your Instagram profile, you can find that in your business manager account. If you want, check out that video on how to set up your Meta Graph API credentials. It'll be at the end of the video. I talk about how to get your Instagram page ID. But here we set the edge to media_publish. Now over on this one, you'll notice the edge was just -media. So first we have to upload the media, and then we can publish the media. So after we've uploaded it, we get a creation ID number, and we have to give it that creation ID number in order to be able to publish it to our actual page. So think of it like this. What we're doing is we're taking our images, we're downloading them from Google Drive and putting them into a place that's usable by Instagram. Once we have it, we put it into Instagram's system. And then here what we're doing is we're telling the system post to link to our page. And that's just how we have to have it set up. It took me a long time to figure out how to get this to actually work, but that's what we do. We then kind of go through that last process right here of letting the user know that we've gone ahead and sent it into Instagram, and then we send it to Slack and let it put all that information into our Postgres memory. So I'll cover this node really quick, this AI agent, but I'm not going to cover the rest of the flow on this chain just because it's the same upload into Postgres that we've covered a couple times already. So we're going to give it our Instagram post that just went and posted, and we're just going to let it know that it needs to deliver the report that the Instagram post is live and in action, and frame it like this. Yeah, we knew this was good. It's all good to go. Everything's happy. The social media team posted this for us. It's going to speak directly to us. It's going to confirm the action. Make it clear the post is published and the spotlight is on. It needs to stay personal and professional. Never make it about the bot. Never explain or narrate. No mentions to any other drafts or no breaking character, as well as it needs to report with style. I don't want this to sound like a robot. I want this to sound energetic. And no other critiques. The review's over. It posted it. It's all done. So if we come over here, we'll see it just lets me know, fantastic news. Your Instagram post highlighting the power of batching content creation to reclaim the weekdays is live and making its mark. And it just tells me it's good. The spotlight is on and your strategy is in full effect. So wonderful. It's going to send that to me. And then it's going to send me that message via Slack, set the information, and then upload my message and then the bot's message to the Postgres memory so that if I want to continue the conversation, I can. All right, and so then that is if we do a single image. If we have multiple images, so multiple Google Drive links, it's then going to go through this other process up here. Now the drafting process is the same. It's exactly the same as down here. Same drafting process. In fact, the drafting process for all the rest of the bots is all of the same for all of it. So I'm not going to cover any more drafting process. We have covered that twice now. It's good to go. So what we're going to do instead is we're just going to talk about the top branch. We'll talk about the loop specifically because that's really the only thing different. And then we'll go on from there. So we have our text classifier. It's going to determine whether we're drafting or posting. If we're posting, it's going to use this AI agent, the same AI agent that was down here that pulled out our post, just the last complete version of our final draft that we have approved. It's then going to go through this code node. This code node is going to reference back to this code node here. It's going to pull out all of the Google Drive links that we have. It's then going to organize each of them as an individual item. That's then going to go through this loop process here. This loop process goes and downloads it from Google Drive. It's going to upload it to WordPress, and then it's going to upload it to Instagram. and it's going to loop through each of the links. So whether it's 2 links or 5 links, it goes through all of them. It's the same process as right here. Here we only had one, right? We had the code node, the Drive link where we download it, the WordPress link where we upload it, and then the Instagram one where we upload it to Instagram. Same thing here, code node, Drive, WordPress, then Instagram. Once all of these come through this loop, what we're going to get is we're going to get a media ID number. I think it's called something different for Instagram, but we're going to get a media ID number that we have to pass all of these IDs at once into Instagram for a carousel in order for us to be able to make it. So like I said here, we had to upload our image first and then post. Here we're uploading all of our images, and then we're going to create a container, and then we're going to post. And this is how this works, all right? So we aggregated all of our loops into one item, run it through this code node. When this code node is grabbing all of our Instagram IDs for all of the images that we've uploaded, it's then going to come into this Facebook node here. So again, set up your credentials, grab your page ID, your Instagram page ID, profile ID. Edge is media. We're going to have some query parameters. The first is caption, and the caption is going to be the post that we pulled out again. All right. We're going to have children, and this is going to be the images that we're attaching to this post. And those are going to be all of the media IDs. It's all the code node already structures it the way it needs to be put in here. So try not to change anything if you can. It's going to upload it all properly in the way it expects to be uploaded into Instagram. And then we have to make sure that we call this media type as carousel. So we're creating a container called carousel with our caption and our images in it. We then are able to post it with our next Facebook node here. Same credentials, same page, except our edge here is media publish. Our query parameter is creation ID, and the ID is going to be the ID of the container that was just created in Instagram, and we're now posting it. Okay. Now, you can always schedule it if you want. You don't have to directly post it now. You can schedule it for the future, but I have it set to post. We then get a confirmation message from our bot who sends it to us via Slack. It sets and edits that edit field node to lock in that information, and then sends the human information to Postgres and then the bot information to Postgres. Okay, that's if we have Google Drive. Now the other half of the bot. The other half is going to go much quicker because we've already covered pretty much everything. I'm just going to briefly run through it again. So again, if we have an images ID number or a message timestamp, one of the two, it's going to come up this process. It's going to see that we do not have any Google Drive links. It's going to come up to this if node. This if node is going to see whether or not we have already drafted our first draft of our post. If we have not drafted it, it's going to come down this drafting path here. This drafting path, what it does is it's going to update our Google Sheet to say that we have created a draft first. So this Google Sheet here, it's going to say that we've created a draft for Instagram. It's then going to pull out our images. It's not going to pull our images. It's going to pull the number of images that we have. Is it multiple or single? Not that that's necessarily important. I guess we don't necessarily need this. I think it's important for passing forward into our next pass through, but I guess you might be able to live without this code node now that I look at it one more time. But what we do is we draft our Instagram post. Again, whether it has multiple images or single, it's irrelevant. It's drafting the post first. It's then going to prepare that draft to send to us in the same format. So it's going to go, hey, here's an Instagram draft. Here's my recommendations. Here's my critiques, whether I think it's ready to post. It sends that to us via Slack, edit field node, and then the human message gets uploaded to Postgres, and then the bot message gets uploaded to Postgres. It's just copy paste, just referencing this node as opposed in here as opposed to somewhere else, and then referencing. That's it. That's pretty much the only difference. Otherwise, it's the same drafting path we've seen numerous times. If there's a single image, so after it's drafted, this one will become true. If there's a single image, this code node is going to come down here. It's going to be a result of single. Okay, it's the same code node that we saw down here for the Google Drive. It's going to see one image ID. If it's multiple, it'll go on the top branch, but we're only looking at single. It's going to give me the total number of links as well as the links themselves. In this case, it's going to be the image IDs, the Instagram image IDs that we are uploading into the timestamp here. So it's going to be the message timestamp. That's our image ID. All right. Then we come through this process here. Text classifier determines if this is another draft or to be sent. If it's another draft, it's going to go through the same exact process that we've done for all the other drafts. It's going to rewrite it here. It's going to present it here. It's going to send it to you to Slack here. We have our edit field node. Human message gets uploaded to Postgres. Bot message gets uploaded to Postgres. If we're going to post the image, we then go through this process here. This process is going to pull out our last message. Again, we've gone through this a couple times. I don't want to beat a dead horse. It's the same system prompt and everything. It's going to pull out that last message from our previous conversation history that the draft was complete and that we approved. It's then going to go through this code node here, which is going to get what's called a drive link. It doesn't need to be called drive link. I think it could be called like web content link. Maybe I call that here. Web content link. I probably just didn't change it. It doesn't really matter what you call it because it's going to download it right here. I think it's going to download it right there. Yeah, it's just a JSON file. So it doesn't really matter what it was called. Just double checking for you all. So it's pulling. In fact, I'm not even pulling from that code node. I don't know if I pull from anywhere else. No. Breakout image link. Guess it wasn't particular. Maybe it's down on this end. I do it. Breakout image link. No, that's landmark. And okay. So this code node may not be necessary. I have it. Not entirely certain why I have it anymore. It might just be a holdover from a different version I had built, and I was just frustrated because this was such a pain to build, guys. It was fun though. Very fun to be able to post to Instagram with a bot. Anyway, so what we do is we do the same process of uploading it to WordPress, but the difference here is we're not downloading it from Google Drive. Instead, we've uploaded this image into Slack, right? We attached the image to Slack this time. So now we have to download the image from Slack. So we're using an HTTP node with a method of get. The URL that we're getting it from this if node somewhere over here. From this if node, that's where we're pulling it from. Why? Just because that's what I happen to grab. You have your Slack OAuth 2 credentials, and then we have a response format, a file, and output field is called data. All right, that's then going to be uploaded to WordPress, just like before. Same information that we had before. In this case, my image name or my content disposition is going to be slightly different. It's this one we have attachment semicolon space, and then file name equals, and then here I have Instagram dash, and then the timestamp of when this is being uploaded right now. And that's just so it has a unique file name in WordPress that allows it to be identified and pulled back on the very next node. If you don't have this, if you just kind of name it the same thing, if you have a whole bunch of images named the same exact thing, all stored in your WordPress account or wherever you're storing these images, how is it supposed to know which one to pull? So that's why we change and give it a specific file ID number here. Content type is still that MIME type. In this case, it's going to be JPEG. And then we're downloading the body content, form data. Parameter type is N8N binary file. The name is file. And input data field name is data. All right. We then are going to create our container. So same Instagram credentials. Here you'll notice I have my page ID. I think I had this down here too, right here when I was making the containers. You have to have your account ID. I don't think it's your Instagram page. It is your Instagram page ID. Okay, so it's your Instagram page ID. It needs to also be in your URL endpoint here. Sorry, I missed explaining that earlier. But set up your credentials, field, query parameters. First one is going to be image underscore URL. Our value is going to be json.guid.raw. So again, that's the URL that's being pulled from Instagram that it's tagged this with. So where we can find it on Instagram. And then our caption is our actual post that we're going to be posting to Instagram. All right, that's our container. We then have a Facebook node, same thing. Make sure you include your Instagram page ID there. Media or edge is media_publish. And then we're going to publish the creation ID, which is the container ID. And it's then going to post our image to Instagram. It then goes through the same process of sending us a confirmation message, letting us know that it's posted it, sending it to us via Slack, edit field node to lock down that information right there. The human message gets sent to Postgres. The bot message gets sent to Postgres. And then back in our spreadsheet, we have a one last step where it's going to pull out the image ID. In this case, it should say Instagram. That's fun, Instagram. It's going to pull out that Instagram ID, and then it's going to go ahead and it's going to mark it that it has posted it with the timestamp of when it posted it in our spreadsheet. And I guess it didn't work when because it had said Facebook ID. So but it's fixed for you guys now. I changed it really quick. There's always bugs. You got to fix them when you see them. Squash the bugs when you see them. And I'm going to have to go back and fix my bot. And then if you have multiple IDs, all right, so back in this code node here. So if we have multiple images, so you're going to do a carousel. This code node here is looking for whether there's multiple or single images. If there's multiple, it'll put it here. It's going to give us the total number of links as well as break those links down. It's going to give us each of those links. All right, this if node is checking if it says multiple. If so, it comes on this top path. If we are updating a draft, it'll go down the bottom path. We've already discussed that a couple times. If it's going up the top branch, we're having this AI agent that's going to pull that final completed approved draft out of our conversation history. It's going to pass that forward. Because we have multiple images, this code node is going to reference back to this code node over here. It's going to grab each of those links. It's going to break them out into individual items to then go through this loop. This loop does exactly what this set of items here did. It's going to download the image. All right, so we just have a get with our content link using our Slack credentials because we're pulling it from Slack again, remember? And it's going to be in Slack in our spreadsheet here. So here you see files.slack. You need your Slack credentials to be able to download that. Our file response format is file and outputting it as data. That binary file is then going to be uploaded into WordPress. Again, make sure you have your URL here if you're using WordPress. If you have another service, it just needs to be unsecured essentially. You can't have a locked system where if you put this like on Imgur or somewhere else, like the options were not great when I was looking at how to do this. WordPress was really the best option because it was inexpensive. I already had a website on WordPress. So if you can double duty, totally do that. Your other options are more expensive, unfortunately, but to be able to upload it somewhere to then be downloaded by Instagram. So headers, content disposition, same thing we did before where we give it that unique file ID number. Content type is the binary MIME type. And then we're uploading the file to it here with this form data. The parameter type is N8N binary file. Our name is file, and our input data field is data. All right, that then gets put into Instagram, just as before. It's the same process as this one down here. If it was a single image, we're just kind of going through a loop for each of them. So we got our page number up here in our URL. The endpoint is media. We have query parameters. Image_URL is our URL of where we're pulling it off of WordPress for. And then we have this here. This is different. This is _carousel_item. So is carousel item. We set this to true. And now it's understanding that this image is going to be part of a carousel container later. But we have to upload all of them first, and then we're going to deal with the container. All right. So once all of our images go through the loop, they get aggregated together so that all of the different items get turned back into one item. It goes through this code node, which is going to pull out all of our Instagram IDs. So each time we upload an image to Instagram, we're going to get an Instagram ID number for that image so that we can call it later to be able to post it. So we're going to get a bunch of these numbers when we have multiple images. So this code node puts them all into a single set of numbers. I think it's an array that it's supposed to put it into. Either way, we then send it into this Instagram node here. Make sure to have your Instagram page ID there. Our edge is media. This is where we're going to put in our caption in our query parameters. So this caption is coming from the agent that pulled it, the final draft from our conversation history. The children are going to be those media IDs that the code node was able to format in the right way that this needs them to be in. And then we have a media underscore type of carousel. All right, so this is the container that we're making, the carousel container. And the images that we've uploaded, we are told it they're the children of a carousel item somewhere. So now we're attaching them to the carousel. Once the carousel container is made, we then are able to post them with another Facebook node here with your Instagram page ID. Make sure your edge is set to media underscore publish. And then the creation ID is the code or ID number of the container for the carousel. And so now we're posting that to Instagram as a carousel. It's finally done, all right? And then at the end, we have kind of the same process right there of sending the confirmation to the user. It's all done. It's been posted. We then send it to Slack so that we actually get the message, edit field node in order to be able to lock down that information. Human message gets sent via Postgres, and then the bot message gets sent via Postgres. And then we have these last two nodes here. These nodes will finish off our Instagram post here and it should say Instagram, not Facebook. So what fun was that? Instagram. And what it'll do is it will add a timestamp right here for when it has posted, and it'll add it to each of the images because this pulls all of the images that have that image's ID or the Instagram image's ID number. And so it's going to find this number that's going to be the same for all of your images that you uploaded at the same time. And then it's going to pass those to this Google Sheets node, and we're going to add the timestamp for when they got posted there. So you want to set up your Google Sheets credentials. I have a link in the description below for all of that for Google Cloud Console. Set it to the spreadsheet that I'm going to give you a copy of. That'll be all available in the free school community. We're matching on the file URL, and that's because each item is coming through. We want it to be individual, and thankfully each URL for each image is unique. So we're going to match on the URL and then go through and set each one as the timestamp of when it got posted. And that's it. That's the Instagram image posting bot. If you want to update it to be able to post videos and reels and all that, you absolutely can. My version of it has the ability to do videos. I'm more than happy to be able to show you how to do that in our advanced community. If you want to sign up with me there and get on one of my tech support calls, more than happy to give you the additional parts. Unfortunately, that part of the system just didn't make it for time for the production of this video, so I'm not going to cover it in this video. But if you want a copy of the JSON for this workflow, if you want this workflow for yourself, just go to my free school community. The link is in the description below. I'll have the spreadsheet there for you as well as a ton of other social media posting bots, executive assistants, lead scrapers, all kinds of N8N tutorials and how-tos and how to build agentic systems and bots. A lot of great content all available for you in the free school community. As well as if you liked this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video. It really does help get this information out there to those who need it. As always, I'm Bradford Carlton. Let's automate your success together.